You're in your apartment alone. Then you hear something. You think, was it just the storm? You realize you're not alone. Your living room is not safe with Unhinged, the new immersive game experience brought to you by Netflix. To make it out alive, you must answer the phone. The question is, when your phone rings, will you answer? Tap the banner to play Unhinged now, only on Netflix.
Ouch. This knee is killing me, but I can't stop training. The marathon is in 2 weeks.
Let's get on ZocDoc and find a doctor to take a look at that for you.
Okay.
Here's a review. Dr. Craddock really takes his time.
No, I don't have time.
What about Dr. Charles? His patients say he can help find a quick fix, and he's in network.
Great, now we're talking. Book it.
Booked. 1 mile down, 19 to go.
Bring it on.
You've got options. Download the ZocDoc app today.
Hey cousins, welcome back to One Bad Night, a Melanin Mysteries miniseries. This is the podcast where we dive into the darkest corners of true crime, one case at a time. I'm your host, Tiffany, aka Detective Lightskin, and I am so happy that you are here. So if you are new to the family, welcome. And if you have been rocking with me for a while, welcome back. This is One Bad Night, where we look at the moments that changed everything. There were no lifelong rivalries. There were no serial killers, not carefully planned murders that unfolded over months. Literally, just one bad night, one chance encounter, one bad decision, one argument, one bruised ego, one pull of the trigger, a few minutes, and a lifetime of consequences. Because sometimes it only takes one night to destroy multiple lives. Before we jump in, though, I do have to take a second because Melanin Mysteries is officially celebrating 2 years. And it is 11:52 on June 30th. So in literally 8 minutes, my baby's birthday is live. Now, this is 2 whole years of telling stories, chasing justice, laughing together, crying together, and building this incredible community one episode at a time. So I just want to shout out my baby for growing up on me, because I swear it feels like yesterday we were nervously recording that first episode 3 times. And now look at us. From the bottom of my heart, I have got to tell y'all thank you. Thank you for every download, every message, every case suggestion, every comment, every laugh, every tear, and every time you've told somebody, baby, you got to listen to Melanin Mysteries. Y'all have stuck with me through rebrands, growing pains, technical issues, late nights, early mornings, and every crazy idea that I've had. It has been a wild ride. But let me tell y'all how we just getting started. So if you would like to give Melanin Mysteries a birthday gift, the absolute best one you can give is completely free. Y'all know I don't ask for much. I just want you to share the podcast with somebody who loves true crime. Post it on your social media. Text it to a friend. Tell your coworker. And if you haven't already, please leave a 5-star review wherever you listen, because those reviews tell the platforms that people are actually enjoying the show, and that's how Melanin Mysteries reaches new listeners. And I appreciate every single one of you more than y'all will ever know. Now, y'all already know I don't do a bunch of announcements during One Bad Night, so let's go ahead and get into today's case. Child, if you saw the title, right? All right, let's get going. Now, imagine throwing the rest of your life away, not because somebody tried to kill you, not because somebody tried to rob you, not because you were even protecting your family. Imagine trading freedom for your pride. So picture this. It's after 1 a.m. You standing outside a Crackhouse trying to score $50 worth of crack cocaine, right? So it's already about to go to hell. You already know. Crack involved is going to hell. The dealer tell you no. Words get exchanged. Then he calls you one word. He called you a bitch. That's it. Wasn't no punches thrown. There wasn't no weapons pulled out. No blood spilled. He just called you a bitch. Now, me, I would have just cussed you out. I maybe, threw a middle finger in the air. Maybe you should even went and found another dope house. Oh, but no, not this crew. Because before the sun came up, somebody would return with guns. And then more than a dozen bullets would tear through a house full of people. A man who wasn't even part of the argument would take his final breath. Multiple lives would be traded for prison sentences. All because somebody couldn't let one word go. This is One Bad Night. All right, cousins, I'm going to go ahead and set the scene for y'all. It's summertime in the A, as in Atlanta, Georgia, not ATL. I love y'all respectfully. I promise I do. What the hell y'all got going on down there? Because every time I cover a case from Atlanta, I end up staring at my notes like, see this right here? This is why y'all stay on the news. But I promise I'm not picking on y'all. But baby, y'all have given me some of the most absolutely insane cases I have ever covered. So once again, here we are. So the date is August 27, 2001. It's just another hot summer night in Southwest Atlanta. We're in the Sylvan Hills neighborhood, an area back then had earned itself the nickname the War Zone. Now, whenever a neighborhood gets a nickname like the War Zone, I don't know about y'all, but I'm immediately clutching my purse and checking to make sure my car doors are locked. It's one of those places they said, you just rolling through because they got some biomass food, but you don't slide through after dark. That's how EC is. You don't go down there after dark. Because I already know the story ain't about to end well. Our crime scene, it's a crack house. It was specifically a duplex located at 1524 Murphy Avenue. Baby, police are called out, and when they make their way back to the hallway, they find a man laying on his side. He had been shot one time in the chest, just up under his left nipple. Now, here's the part that caught everybody's attention. This man, he didn't look like he belonged there. Y'all know how we all do it. The second we see somebody, our brain automatically starts making assumptions. Now, the detectives later described him as clean cut. He had a fresh lineup. He was well groomed. Somebody who took pride in how he looked. Looking at him, the last place you'd expect to find him was stretched out on the floor of a crack house. But y'all, if life has taught us anything, it's that addiction doesn't care what you look like. It doesn't care how much money you have. It doesn't care where you came from. Baby, that demon will knock on anybody's door. This man, he didn't have any ID on him, and rigor mortis had already started setting in, meaning he'd been dead for a while before the officers got there. Now, as detectives start processing the scene, they find 9mm shell casings scattered around. There's bullet holes popped up all in the walls. This place had been lit the hell up, okay, like a Christmas tree. The inside of that duplex looked exactly like the neighborhood's nickname, a goddamn war zone. So the lead detectives are Detective David Quinn and Detective Vince Velasquez. Their first job wasn't figuring out who pulled the trigger. First, they had to figure out who the hell this man even was, because before you can even solve a murder, you got to give the victim his name back. And the man hadn't been the only one shot. He, unfortunately, was the only one who lost his life. Jamie Hill, Brian Byer, and Roderick Levi had also been in the house, and they had also been shot, but thankfully they lived. Now, y'all, this is 2001, so we ain't talking about facial recognition. We ain't got Facebook, and we definitely ain't talking about people posting "pray for my cousin" before the police even get there. This was the Polaroid era. So the detectives, they grab one of those instant cameras. They snap a picture of their victim because they're planning to use it later, if somebody reports him missing or if any family comes looking for him. But when I tell y'all, a guy had another plan, because as they're walking out of the duplex, they don't even make it to their car. A woman comes walking up the sidewalk, and she like, look, I just heard around the way that my son been shot and he dead. I mean, lady was real calm and stuff. Like, yeah, she was very calm. Her name was Dorothy Freeman. And the detectives, they very carefully show her the picture of the Polaroid they had just taken. And she looks down and she's like, yeah, that's my baby. His name was Dexter Freeman. I ain't gonna go too hard on his name, because why Dexter in a crack house? Dexter Lydell, he sound like he needs to be a professor at Spelman or something, but baby, not in a crack house. But let me keep going. But for real, like, can y'all imagine waking up hoping somebody got it wrong, praying that they mixed up your child with somebody else, only for one little Polaroid picture to confirm your worst nightmare? And Dorothy, she told detectives Dexter was a good man.
A good man, Savannah. A good man. He's just in a bad situation right now, and he's trying to get out of it.
And for real, that broke my heart. Because now y'all know, we've all seen what crack can do. And it doesn't just destroy the person using it. It can bankrupt families, steal birthdays, steal graduations, grandparents, mothers, fathers. It steals people while they're still breathing. And let me tell y'all, I have seen it up close and personal. I told y'all about my auntie. The crack didn't end up taking her out. It was the hot dog that did, okay? still one of the wildest sentences I've ever had to say on this podcast. Now, my oldest brother, he has battled a crack addiction for literally as long as I can remember. I got another aunt. She's still hitting that pipe. Baby, she is in her 70s. At this point, I guess crack said we together till death do us part. I don't know. But baby, that demon has a grip on people that is unbelievably hard to break. So when Dorothy said Dexter had just gotten tangled up, I believed her. Because addiction doesn't always start with somebody trying to throw their life away. Sometimes it just starts with one bad decision. Although I ain't never been like, I want to know what crack spell. I don't know. That's just never crossed my mind. I don't know. Maybe because when I was a kid, my mom literally would take me down to my grandma's house because my aunties used to always be like up the street and around the corner or wherever they was, and they would come in my grandma's house looking for a hot meal. And baby, they was broke down. Like the shit scared the shit out of me. I never don't. That was why I had my introduction of don't do drugs. Right. So like I said, sometimes it starts with one bad decision that turns into another and another until one day your family doesn't even recognize the person standing in front of them. Right. Now let's talk about Dexter. Like I said, his full name was Dexter Freeman. Man should have been teaching at Morehouse, some clean cut. Poor Dexter, rest in peace. So he was 32 years old when he died. So that puts his birthday around 1969 or 1970. And he was born and raised in the A. Like I said, his mama was Dorothy Freeman, but I couldn't find much information about his daddy or what his upbringing looked like. He did have a sister named Kimberly, and Dexter was a daddy. He left behind 3 children, Dexter Jr., Janae, and Desandria. And y'all know I'd be reading obituaries like they part of the investigation. And when they got to the end, here they come with this. The special friend. Her name was Coretta Bridges. And I'm telling y'all right now, I'm putting this on the record, y'all. Don't put me in nobody's obituaries, especially their special friend. Just leave me out of it. Don't have me in that obituary looking like I won second place. Either I'm your woman or just leave my name, clear up the program. Just put my name in there. Please don't put special friend in it. Matter of fact, you won't even need to put special friend in there because I'd be wife. Never mind. X all that out your mind. Don't even worry about it. Because ain't no way you going to cross over and leave me as your special friend. No. But speaking of relationships, if you missed last week's Love, Lies, and Alibis quick hit, go check it out. How long is too long? We talked about this. So come back. Tell me whether you agree with me or not. Anyway, moving on. Like I said, just couldn't beat me. But anyway, we back to Dexter. Because what should have been just another night at a Crackhouse was about to become exactly what this series is about. One bad night. But this part had me tickled because why one of the detective's first potential witnesses, what was the dude running the trap house? How'd that work? You mean to tell me that the manager of the crack house is helping solve the murder that happened there at the crack house? Now, I personally don't know how trap house HR works. Like, I don't know if he clocked in before he gave his statement. I don't know if he filled like an incident report. I don't know. I just know Detective Lightskin got questions and or concerns. I still do. But we're going to call our neighborhood entrepreneur. We're going to call him Day-Day, right? And according to Day-Day, he said his Lieutenant Roderick Levi, who had also been one of the gunshot victims, filled him in on what had went down, right? So they was like, boom, this is how it went down. This is what had happened. He was like, it was around 4 o'clock this morning. A car rolled up. Pay attention, this part is important. A man and a woman, they get out and they start walking towards the house. Another man get out. But then Day-Day was like, it was the one nigga, he had some raggedy ass braids. Not just braids. He said his braids was raggedy. Right, okay. But look, that's what he had said. Don't come for me. So he said he gets out with a woman who's wearing a blue bandana. So now we've got 4 people connected to this car, 2 men, 2 women. He said it was a lady in the car when everybody came up to the house. So he said next thing Roger had told him was like, somebody yelled out, "You know what it is." Now, cousins, can I just say, if somebody ever walks up to me and announcing, "You know what it is," baby, I probably don't know what happened. I don't know what went down. And respectfully, I'm probably not trying to find out either. But in this situation, after them words, gunfire, pop, 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 starts ringing out, bullets flying everywhere. And just as fast as they show up, everybody jumps back into the car and they disappear into the night. Right. Okay. Bam. Now, Day-Day, he ain't the only one talking. Detectives find another witness, and said witness, she was a lookout for the trap house. I'm just very confused because I thought if we selling dope, we committing felonies. So we ain't talking to the police. Do the police like turn the other cheek? I need to know how this works. Like I need to know, was there indictments coming down after this? Because I didn't hear nothing about it. But I just have questions. So if somebody could like school me on how this works, I would be greatly appreciative. But anyway, this Miss Lady, her name wasn't released in the court record, so we just gonna leave her anonymous. But look, this is where things got like really sad. So she told detectives that she and Dexter had actually been standing outside talking when the car rolled up. And, she said like just in a blink of an eye, everything changed. She said shots started popping off. Her survival instincts kick in. She took off. She ran. She was out of here. She was FloJo. She wasn't playing no games. She ran behind the house and dove in some bushes. She said she stayed there until she was safe. But she said her and Dexter ended up getting separated and she never actually saw what happened to him. So in her
When the world keeps shifting, we're there to help you act with confidence. At HSBC, we bring together the people, ideas, and capital that drive growth, backing your ambitions at every stage. So when you're preparing for the next generation, strengthening your portfolio, or you're entering new markets, we're there, bringing 160 years of experience to help you move forward. HSBC, opening up a world of opportunity.
Suffering from dry, tired, irritated eyes? Don't let dry eyes win. Use Sustain Pro. It hydrates, restores, and protects dry eyes for up to 12 hours. Sustain Pro. Triple action dry eye relief.
mind, she thought he made it out too. Now, imagine you wake up the next morning thinking your friend escaped, only to find out he didn't. And she didn't even know Dexter had been killed until the next morning. So now her statement matches Mr. Day-Day's almost point for point. So she also described the man with the raggedy ass braids. And then she also saw the woman who was wearing a blue bandana. And then she said there were two people in the car she saw, but she said she couldn't identify any of them. And she couldn't tell detectives what kind of car they were driving. So yeah, Detective Quinn and Vasquez, they finally got something they could work with. So now they know there are 4 people involved because they got 2 witnesses telling the same story. And they had physical descriptions, but they don't have no names. They know they got a blue bandana and they got some raggedy ass braids. So who were these people? Who pulled the trigger? And who were the 2 ride-alongs? Well, leave it to Day-Day. He comes back to detectives and was like, look, I think y'all need to go talk to a girl. We gonna call a girl Sweets. So apparently Sweets works as a runner for Day-Day, right? Y'all snitching too. My God. Oh, I'm sorry. So apparently, like I said, Sweet, she was the runner. So she, knew who was coming and going. He was like, it's probably her. So detective, they go looking for Sweets. Only Sweets ain't at the trap house. She ain't at home. She ain't hiding at nobody's cousin apartment. Baby, let me tell you where they found Sweets. Y'all want to know where they found Sweets? They found Sweets in the hospital laid up. And why was she? Was she injured? No, sis wasn't injured. She just went there because she was scared, and that's where she went to hide. I never thought about going to the hospital to hide. I don't know. It just would never cross my mind. But they're like, okay. She said she was scared. Scared of who? And you scared? And she went like, I ain't trying to be funny. She didn't check herself into like the psych ward or anything. No, she checked herself into the regular hospital. And I'm trying to figure out what the fuck did you tell them? Like, they don't just be admitting people. What did you tell them to get admitted that you laid up in this hospital bed? Because like I said, it was not the psych ward. But anyway, before they can ask this anything, they got to get her on tape because, and when I say on tape, I literally mean on tape. Like, cause y'all remember, this is back in the day when detectives, they had to wheel one of them like VHS camcorders, or maybe by 2001, we had the digital ones a little bit. I don't remember. But Lord, times have changed. Now, off topic for just a minute. So, because this just unlocked the whole memory for me. Like back in the day, my godfather, when I tell you, he used to have that big dumbass camcorder. He brought it to every event, a recital I had, birthday parties, graduation school. That man, he would drive from Pittsburgh to Cleveland with this big dumbass video recorder, and he had it on his shoulder. Look, it was on his shoulder like he worked for Channel 5 News, okay? He was always blocking somebody's view. I used to be so embarrassed. It's like my dad said, they would go out kicking it, and he would have his camcorder. God rest his soul. Oh my gosh. But looking back, I said that's a priceless memory. But anyway, in 2001, they wasn't pulling out no iPhone and hitting record, so they had to get the camera rolling. Literally, they hit record, and Sweet starts talking. Right now, according to Sweets, she like, I wasn't even there when it all went down. I only heard about it after everything happened. So she like, look, I was at home. My friend, her name is Lisa Lindsey, and she was like, Lisa left the house because she wanted to go buy some crack. She had $50 she was about to spend, right? But she said Lisa didn't go by herself. She said she had with Derrick, Bolden, and Gary Tomlin. But Sweet, she said she stayed at the house. But she made one thing very clear. She said both of them men, they had guns. She said everybody gone for about 15 minutes or so, and then around 4 a.m., all three of them came back. And she said when they came back, she said they was over here talking about they shot up a house. Now, y'all, that probably makes your ears perk up real quick because, look, now, before detectives left, Sweets ends up giving them a phone number for Lisa. So, of course, they ran the number, but the phone wasn't in Lisa's name. It came back registered to Derrick Bolden. Now, according to the information they got together, Lisa was 42 years old and Derrick was 25. Now, I was like, could they be in a relationship? But I'm going to mind my little business. We're going to keep this little train moving. So the detectives, they started digging into both of them. Lisa, nothing really jumped out. They really couldn't find any criminal history on her. But Derrick, Derrick was a different story. He already had a concealed weapons charge on his record. And the detective started pulling up his booking photo. And y'all, guess what he had? He had some raggedy ass braids. Would you look at God? Now, remember, Mr. Roderick, the lieutenant over at the trap house, cousins. Apparently, he woke up that morning and decided he has things to get off his chest, too. I have questions. What the fuck type drug dealers is these? Who is just voluntarily walking into police and giving statements? Day talking, Roderick talking, Sweets talking. At what point are y'all handing out immunity with every interview? Is the trap house under new management? Are folks getting indicted after this? I have so many questions. But anyway, Roderick finally tells detectives what happened from his viewpoint. He's like, look, I was there. I got shot. I don't know who these people was, but he was like, I don't know if this got anything to do with anything. He was like, but it was about 1 a.m. He like, this lady walked up to me and she wanted to buy a $50 rock of crack. He like, but I ain't sell $50 bags. He like, I only sold $5 bags and $10 bags. Now, maybe I'm thinking too logically here, but in my mind, why couldn't you just hand the lady $5 $10 bags and call it a day? I'm just saying. Ain't the same thing? I don't know. I ain't never sold dope. Can't tell you. But that's not what happened. He turned her away. Lady get mad. Roderick responds, bitch, move around. Just like that. That was it. Because according to Roderick, it wasn't long after that exchange that a car pulls up, bullets start flying, and he got shot. That's how it all went down. So the detectives are like, somebody lied. Because everybody's story got just enough truth to make it sound believable, but not enough truth to make any goddamn sense. First up, Lisa. Now, Lisa, she actually pulls up on detectives herself because she heard they was looking for her. These folks in this case is bold, confident, almost like she thought she had this thing figured out. So she's telling like, yeah, I was over at Sweet's house, around 9 at evening. I wasn't feeling too good. My stomach was hurting. So I went to sleep. I ain't wake up till 11 o'clock the next morning. Girl, what type of sleep you get? And as for the shooting, I don't know about that either. Now, she does admit that she went to the trap house earlier that day, but she wasn't there for crack. She just went to get a little bit of weed. That's all. Just a little something to calm the nerves. So they're like, okay. We gonna talk to Derrick. And baby, his story came off the same copy machine as Lisa's. I don't know what y'all talking about. I ain't shooting no Bobby. My mama ain't did nothing either. So now it's his mama. Then he throws in his alibi. I was across town with my girlfriend. Okay, so maybe the boogeyman did it. Because everybody else innocent. Got it. So meanwhile, the Texas like, we'll just let y'all keep talking. So 9 days after this shooting, they got a search warrant for Lisa's house. But before they even walked through the door, they ended up talking to her landlord. Now, according to the episode I watched, they said the landlord, he only had one arm and they called him Nubs. Yeah, wild. I don't know how true that is, but threw that in there. And they were like, he was like, yeah, they was all over here. And he said it was Sweets, Lisa, Derrick, and Gary. They was at the house that night and into the next morning. But here's what stood out to him. He said he had made Derrick leave because Derrick had a gun. he wasn't comfortable with him carrying around. Was like, hey, you gotta take that. You gotta move around, take that shit somewhere else. So now they got the search warrant. It ain't turned up nothing. They ain't found nothing. They ain't found no gun. They ain't found nothing incriminating. Like, damn. But they still had evidence that was building anyway. The medical examiner ended up removing a 9mm bullet from Dexter's chest during the autopsy, and ballistics compared it to the 9mm shell casings that were found in the duplex. They were a match. Then that witness who had been standing outside talking to Dexter, Miss Lady, she picked Derrick right out of a police lineup. Uh-oh. Now, your little girlfriend story ain't looking too solid no more. So detectives, they circle back to Sweets because sometimes all you gotta do is let people sit in their lives for a little bit. This time, baby, when I tell y'all Sweets folded like a lawn chair from Temu, turns out she had been in the car the whole time. The night did start at her house like she said. She said everybody was just chilling, you know. I wonder if Sweets was on crack too, because, you know, birds with feathers flock together. Anyway, she said she said they was hanging out at the house. Lisa decided she wanted to go buy some crack. She pulled up to the Crackhouse. She walks to Roderick. She said, look, I want to buy $50 worth of crack. He like, nah. They exchanged words. And then, like I said, he called her a bitch. Now, cousins, everything that happened after this is started over one freaking word. So Lisa, like, they get back to the house and she hot. Like, I'm talking hotter than Fish Creek. Hotter than asphalt in August in ATL. Hotter than a bonnet in the microwave. She was big mad. Now, here's where the common sense packed its bags and left, because Derrick decides, ain't nobody gonna call my mama out her name. He could have just simply said, Ma, he a crack dealer. Or, you know what, just forget him. Maybe even, let's just go somewhere else. No, that would have just been too much like right. Baby, at this point, everybody loaded up. And according to Sweets, Derrick and Gary grabbed their guns. Everybody got in the car. They drive back to the trap house. 2 men jump out. Baby, they lit that house up. Got in the car and drove off. Now, Sweets says she didn't even know Dexter had been killed until the next day. Now, here's my favorite part, personally. So prosecutors, they looked at Sweets and was like, so how would you like to not go to prison? They offered her full immunity. Baby, she signed up so fast, she probably asked if they had a rewards program. She was like, y'all need my testimony? What else y'all want to know? I'll start from the beginning. And with her finally telling us the truth, the dominoes started falling. And a few days later, detectives charged Lisa Lindsey, Derrick Bolden, and Gary Tomlin with murder. Now, Derrick got picked up first. He was actually charged formally with 3 counts of aggravated assault and felony murder. Lisa, she was on the run for a little bit. She was missing for about a month. October 20th, 2001, she finally turns herself in. Ain't nobody getting no bond. Same charges. 3 counts of aggravated assault, felony murder. Now, Gary was in the wind for a little bit longer. The court records didn't say exactly how long, but eventually he decided hiding wasn't paying the bills no more. Maybe he ran out of money. Maybe he ran out of couches to sleep on. Maybe he got tired of looking over his shoulders every 5 seconds. But whatever it was, he came on in and he started talking to. He admitted that he and Derrick went and got guns that night. Then they linked up with Lisa and Sweets because Lisa had come back furious after the crack dealers refused to sell her what she wanted. And he called her a bitch. Now, Gary said he already knew what they was about to do. They wasn't going back to argue. They was going back to shoot that shit up. And he also confirmed he and Derrick had been lifelong friends. He confirmed Sweets was standing there when Lisa got called a bitch. And according to Gary, Lisa came back so mad she looked at everybody and said, let's all go. She wasn't saying, let's go home. Bitch didn't even say that we going to breakfast or let's go somewhere else. She just said, let's all go. So men grabbed their pistols. Everybody got back in the car. They rolled back to that crack house. They opened fire. And when it was over, Gary said Lisa was actually bragging about the shooting. All because a crack dealer called her a bitch. Now, Gary decided he wasn't about to die on that hill. He just went ahead and took himself a nice little plea deal. But part of that plea was he had to testify. And he was perfectly fine with that. Let's be real. Friendships don't mean a whole lot when the state is talking about life. Soon as they start talking life sentence, folks suddenly remember every single detail. What color was that car? Oh, baby, it was blue. What time was it? Oh, it was 3:58 and 42 seconds. Who had the gun? Would you like first, middle, and last names? Now, Derrick and Lisa, baby, when they said we ride together until the wheels fall off. And the wheels did, in fact, fall completely off. The mother and son duo was officially indicted November 16th, 2001. Trial began December 12th, 2002. And when I say y'all the jury wasn't buying a goddamn word of it. Long story short, Derrick was found guilty of malice murder, felony murder, 2 counts of aggravated assault, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. Lisa was found guilty of felony murder, 3 counts of aggravated assault. The sentence, life for both of them. And y'all already know what happened next. Ain't nobody just sitting in prison talking about, well, fair enough. Both Derrick and Lisa filed appeals, and the appellate court said no. Then they asked again, no, thank you. Tried another ankle, bitch, didn't we tell you no? Shit.
It's not happening. Denied. 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 Denied.
Now, today, Derrick is serving his life sentence at the Dodge State Prison. And as for Lisa, well, Lisa only lived a few years after she was sentenced. She died from cancer in 2006. And cousins, that is a story of how one word, one bruised ego, and one absolutely ridiculous decision destroyed multiple lives. Dexter Freeman lost his life. 3 children lost their father. Dorothy Freeman buried her son. Gary traded a lifelong friendship for a plea deal. Derrick is spending his life in prison. Lisa died spending her final years behind bars. All because somebody called her a bitch. Now listen, if I shut up a house every time somebody called me a bitch, baby, I'd be recording this podcast with the Department of Corrections. Matter of fact, half of us would have been cellmates by now. Because sometimes people are disrespectful. People are rude. People are dead wrong. But cousins, not every insult deserves a response. And it damn sure doesn't deserve retaliation that leaves somebody else dead. Because the person who paid the ultimate price in all this was Dexter Freeman, a man who wasn't even the one who called Lisa a bitch. And that's what makes this case so tragic, because it wasn't revenge. It was just reckless. And that's exactly why this case belongs in the One Bad Night series, because one bad decision, one bad ride, one bad night. And I'll catch y'all next time.